All right, my friends, this is your host Indigo Asher, and I'm here for my second primer. This one, we're going to be touching on the attributes. We're going to be focusing on looking at the basic starting builds, looking at the different attributes, understanding how they come into play in terms of challenges, doing a mock challenge with a couple of real characters from the previous game. I'm going to try my best to explain it. This is my second take. My first take, I made a couple errors, so we're going to start from the top. All right, so here are the starting archetypes. I built all these. The names are a little bit of flavor. Like, for example, we've had gamblers who are straight up professional poker players, and we had a gambler in Daisy May, who you're going to see in this next screen, who, not the next screen, this future screen, who just took gambles on herself and her career. So wasn't like someone who played a lot of poker or something. You don't have to use any of this to factor into how you actually create your backstory. This is just a little bit of flavor that I threw together to explain these different attributes. So these ones in the red, these are the three physicals. These ones in the green, these are the three mentals. These six work completely differently than these next two blue. I'm not going to even touch the blues right now, just going to focus on these six. We're going to come back and talk about the blues in a moment. As you'll see, every one of these down here, these are like the four physical builds and the four mental builds. They all equal 82. These up here, and that means all the attributes together. The 7 from strength, the 8 from agility, the 16 from composure, the 12 from charisma, all of it together is 82. They're balanced. These are a little different. These all work differently. Not going to touch on that in this video, but I will touch on the specialty stuff later. So every single challenge is going to take one of these, which is the physicals, and it's going to be, you know what? Before we even talk about that, what does a 16, say bodybuilder, we have Tyrone as a bodybuilder. What does a 16 strength get me? So let's hop over to this screen. For our strength question, 16 strength is a +3. So his default strength modifier is a +3. If strength is secondary in a challenge, he's going to get that +3. If the strength isn't secondary or primary in a challenge, that +3 means nothing for the challenge. If it's not secondary and it's not primary, it's irrelevant from those 6 physical, 6 mental combo. And if it is a primary, it's going to get double the 3. It's going to be 6. So let's hop back over. We're not actually going to be doing 6 strength for this strength primary. We're going to use strength as the secondary in our challenge, and we're going to use logic, which is bad for we'll see. So over here, we are looking at the dice roller. This is where all the data comes from in the game, and how this works from the challenges. For each of the characters in the game, I put their attributes. So they all started. So Tyrone, we'll use Tyrone as an example. He started with 16 strength. Throughout his time in Big Brother, he got his strength up higher and higher and higher till it hit the cap of 22. Jordan started with 16 logic. Jordan was the Rhodes Scholar. 16 logic. In her time in Big Brother, she got her 16 logic up to 22. She maxed that out. They all made different choices. As you can see, let me make sure this is on screen so I don't make the same mistake. As you can see, Daisy May, all of hers are balanced. Besides charisma, which she could never use, she chose not to put any points into charisma. She's getting a bonus, even if it's a composure, which is something weak for her. She's getting a bonus from composure. She's getting a bonus from perception. No matter what the challenge is, Daisy May is getting 2 bonuses from them. Jordan, on the other hand, if the challenge has any kind of physical component, she's getting a negative. She's hoping for it to be a physical secondary if it has physical, so she's only taking a -1. But if it's a primary physical, she's taking a -2, and she just has to eat that. Tyrone did a very similar thing. He's got a 6 perception. He's got an 8 composure. He has a 10 logic, so that becomes a bonus, a 0. But he put his points in physical. So they both did an all-in, min-max focus on what I'm good at, strategy, and why do they do it. So down here, I'm going to erase this for now. Let's just set up for my last challenge. So let's just... Okay, so this is right now, this is the toggle for what sets the primary attribute. This is the toggle for what sets the secondary attribute. This column is what comes in. We're going to come in a little bit when we talk about charisma. This toggle is about luck. We're going to come in at the same time. Can you see the temporary toggle? Yes. This toggle right here, temporary, is how I put in adjustments in terms of your challenge effort. So that's not either here nor there. Right now, we're just going to talk about making something primary. Every one of them, if you look in this column here where the modifier is, every one of them has a 0 modifier. This right here is the dice roll. So I'm going to roll the dice real quick. So look at these numbers. Boom, boom, boom. Focus on these numbers. I'm about to delete what I did. It's going to randomize it again. So we just rolled the dice. Daisy hit a crit, 20. Jordan hit a 6. Mel hit a 4. But because there's no modifiers, because this challenge has been set up, they just got what they rolled. Nothing changed. But that's about to go different. This is a logic challenge we're going to be doing. Boom. Look at these numbers. Because it's logic, Tyrone's getting nothing from it. Mel's getting nothing from it. Jordan's getting 12 from it. Daisy's getting 6. Why? Well, let's go back up to their logic. Daisy has a 16 logic. 16 gets you a +3, but because it's primary, it adds twice what your bonus is. 3 times 2 is 6. Jordan is getting a +6. 6 times 2 is 12. This is a Jordan challenge to lose. And hate to break it to you, and the last time I did this, you lost it, sis. But this is a Jordan challenge to lose. She has this massive advantage right here. 12, they're getting nothing. But challenges don't just have primary. They have secondary. And this is, we're going to say, is a strength secondary challenge. So what does that mean? Jordan is getting, you know what, before that I'll go back to none, and I'll just go show you right here. 0, 0, 6, like we talked about, 12. That is what happens with just the primary. We're typing in the strength, and suddenly it's going to shift a little bit. Daisy's 6 became an 8. Daisy is good at strength as well, so hers goes up a little bit. She used to be 6 behind Jordan. Now Jordan is taking a loss of 1. So Daisy gained 2, Jordan lost 1, so now it's only a 3-point deficit between them two. But look at Tyrone. Remember his used to be a 0? Well, he's a max strength character. So having his strength max and having no negative for the primary means he is 6 from 0 to 6. He is suddenly in this challenge. He's 2 behind Daisy and he's 5 behind Jordan. He would need to roll really well to beat him, but he can potentially beat them now. But that's not it. So this challenge has the primary setup, secondary setup. But let's talk about these last two. Let's talk about luck. Let's talk about charisma. Okay, luck and charisma. So, luck over here. Can you see this all on the screen? Yeah. Okay, so luck, let's just use 16 because that's what Daisy's got. 16 luck, if luck was a normal attribute, 16 would get you 3. But luck, as you see, 16 only gets you 1.5 here, half. Why is that? Well, with these other ones, you're gambling whether or not, like Tyrone, let's use Tyrone for example. Tyrone has a maxed agility, 22, a huge agility. But this challenge doesn't have agility in the primary. It doesn't have agility in secondary. His 22 agility doesn't do shit for him in this challenge. But luck happens to be in almost every challenge. Of the 22 challenges I think we did in the last game, luck was in 18 of them. Luck is very common, but it only is half of a secondary and can never get that ×2 modifier. So luck, while it is in every challenge, it doesn't move the needle very much, and Tyrone chose not to get any of it because he didn't want to invest his resources that way. But Daisy has luck. She gets a +1. Jordan gets a +0.5, but since we're rounding down, that 0.5 does nothing for her. Mel gets a +2.5. That's a massive luck. Mel capped her, almost maxed her luck out. No, luck keeps going higher than that. but she almost got her luck really strong. But so this gap, when we add the luck in, Daisy takes another step towards Jordan. 9.5. Jordan, that 0.5 doesn't do anything. So she was at 8, now she's at 9. She was 3 behind, now she's 2 behind. Luck impacts most challenges in a small way, but that can help move the needle and get you wins. Daisy won the second most challenges in the last game with this generalist build and her luck. She just, as long as you roll high, as long as you get these dice with this Daisy build, you can win almost any challenge. But it's not just luck. There's also a charisma, the secondary attribute. That's the challenge. Sorry. What is charisma? So there's 2 different grids, because charisma doesn't have a normal modifier like everybody else. You see 0s, 0s. If you are trying to win a challenge, if you go all in or you do the second most effort, you can't use your charisma, because essentially what charisma is doing is, I am not focusing on me anymore. I am using my attribute, my charisma, to focus on somebody else, and I can either help them or hurt them. If you hold back, which is the third effort level, what you're doing is saying, I'm not going to work as hard as I can. I'm going to take a -2 to my dice, and I'm going to use my charisma modifier as is, half of it. Or I'm going to say, I'm going to no-show. I'm going to do the least effort possible. Now you take a +4 to your personal dice, and you get to use your full charisma modifier. So Mel is set up to be as a kingmaker, 22 charisma. So Mel is gonna do hold back the first time you can use charisma. So going over to Mel in this temporary for her challenge effort, she is taking a -2. So as we see with her modifier, she gets a 2 from her luck, nothing from these 2, and her modifier now goes to 0.5. That temporary, that holding back is cost her 2 of her points. It's pretty much eliminated her from contention in this challenge. But if you look at it, she never was going to contend in this challenge anyway. So she's like, this isn't a challenge is good for me, but you know who I do want to win? I'm going to try to help Daisy win, because I don't like my good-for-nothing daughter who doesn't let me see my grandson, and I really don't like this knuckleheaded fool, Tyrone. So she has 22. She has 22 charisma. 22, she's holding back, so she gets to use just 3 points. And what she is going to do is she's going to put her 3 points on Daisy. Something she did several times. 3 points on Daisy. And what you have just seen is with the luck and with the charisma, Daisy has gone from second place to first place. She has a 12 modifier now. Daisy is sitting in the catbird seat. Jordan is right there with 11. This is only a 1-point differential. Mel cannot win. I mean, I can't say can't win. If she rolls only 20, she'll win. But she ain't going to roll only 20s. A little news flash. This challenge is now Daisy or Jordan's to win or lose. And Chiron, if he rolls well, like right now, he has an 18. He rolled well in this last one. He could beat these girls. So this is the challenge. It's utilizing charisma. Mel's talking shit. No, Mel is boosting up Daisy. Daisy May, girl, you the best. It's using luck. It's using primary logic, Jordan's bag, and secondary strength, Tyrone's bag. And let's see what happens. Now, this challenge, it doesn't actually use these attributes. But I'm going to use it for this challenge. Basically what you're seeing, you see this TV right here? They're waiting for this TV. It's going to have all these different words pop off. They're waiting for it to say the word go. All these other trick words. And so the first roll is just to beat a 9, and it's just to see if they recognize it saying go. If they don't recognize it, if somebody fails to beat a 9 and they let off of their trigger early, they're eliminated. Let's see what we get. First roll, everybody beat 9. So Tyrone barely beat 9 because he rolled a 4, but 4 was enough for him with his modifier, with his strength. If his strength was even 1 lower, Tyrone would have been out of this challenge right off Jump Street. Ooh, that's not what I wanted. Alright, they all beat 9. They all go to the next stage. Now, the lowest is eliminated. So let's roll the dice again. Wow. Daisy May with the 12 modifier rolled a 2. Mel with the no modifier rolls a 16 and edges her out. That is how this shit works sometimes. I'm just letting you know, I just did this challenge the first time before I fucked up. Daisy May was the champ. Daisy May just got taken out of the challenge. So Daisy May, we're going to go ahead and go NA now. She's out of this challenge. Wow, this is a shock. The dice just fucked the champ, Daisy May. Well, let's see. Now Jordan is the clear favorite. Will she get it done? Daisy's out. We don't even have to go to the next stage. Mel failed to get the 9. Mel does not recognize. It says slow. She thought it says go. And she is out of this challenge. Didn't hit that 9. So now we're down to Mel. We're down to Jordan and Tyrone. The man who won every challenge and the girl who couldn't even win it when it was her own shit. Let's see if we can correct history right now. Can Tyrone even get a 9? Jordan can't not get a 9. She has an 11 modifier. If Tyrone rolls a 1 or a 2, he fails. He needs to roll at least a 3 to get a 9. Let's see. Tyrone rolls the 19. He got his 9 in. But if this is the rolls in this next stage, he loses. He needs Jordan to roll less, and he needs to roll good again. I don't know. I must have failed to copy it. He got a 25. All right. This is for all the King's horses. Can Tyrone beat the odds like he did so many times? He cannot beat the odds. Jordan's logic brought her through. Jordan's 22 wins the challenge. Tyrone is left looking on the outside. And that's how it works. Every challenge is going to have a primary. It could be perception. It could be composure. Every challenge is going to have a secondary. It could be agility. It could be speed. Most challenges are going to have luck. And a lot of challenges, almost all challenges, are going to let you have the choice to do your charisma. Charisma is an interesting one. You give up of yourself to try to influence your opponents. You could help an opponent, hopefully, to win. Or you could hurt an enemy, hopefully to help one of your friends win. It's a very valuable attribute, because now I've doubled what happens if you do the lowest, the hold back option, the no-show option. It's even stronger than it was in the last game. And a little sneak preview. I'm going to go back over here to talk about why this is happening. We had a character last game called Moira Ramage. Moira Ramage was an ambassador, and she started with this 12 in charisma, and she never made it better. And that 12 was part of her 82, and it was a big part of her 82, and because she never made it better, she never could utilize it, and it was just wasted points. And I really didn't like that a character had these wasted points the whole game. So what I have done is, in this game, charisma is going to have another impact. It's going to come into the game in a strange way in 2 different facets. But I'm not going to tell you what those are. But so just so you know, these Charisma 12s are no longer wasted. Even if you never use it as a Kingmaker, they are impacting the game in a different way that you will find out. It's not major though, but it is a nice little bonus. So Charisma is stronger than it's ever been before. I hope people utilize it as a mechanic, but they don't have to. I'm sure I've rambled long enough. I hope this has made some amount of sense. I appreciate y'all for joining me. Indigo out.